Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today it is with great pride that I am sharing with you the newly released Meechee S5 stereo power amplifier. This beautifully engineered piece of art is 500 watts a channel by 2, so that's over a kilowatt inside the one chassis. Peaks at about 800 watts into 4 ohms. Stunning piece of kit. Designed and built like nothing else. Elegant, simple, beautiful, and powerful and controlled as well. The sound is phenomenal. So, without further ado, let's have a look. Firstly, its box. This is a freight carton. There's an inner box, which is white. You'll see that. On one end is a serial number, and it's emulated on the other. There's no handles. There's nothing too much other than Fragile and Meechee. Meechee is part of obviously the Rotel group and is a beautiful homage to some of the classic Meechee products that they produced in the late 80s, early 90s. So, firstly, this is a monster of an amplifier. It weighs about 60 kilos. So this is going to take some time as I very carefully open it. The first thing, everything's taped closed with a combination of tape and fabric tape. Now, it means that when you are opening it, you need to be doubly careful that you have cut all of the tape properly. Otherwise, it simply just won't open. So particularly the corners, which are the areas that will end up with a couple of layers, just carefully make sure that you've cut it. Because unlike traditional clear packing tape, it's not going to sort of slice as easily. You're going to have to trim it actively. As far as the next step, it's about understanding that it's got an inner box. And one of the easiest ways of getting this freight carton off, is to roll it and pull the outer freight box off the inner box. Oh. So, once up like this, it's relatively straightforward. And away it goes. Now, the next step is to remove the two-piece lid off the underside. And again, it's just about carefully and diligently cutting along the tape, ensuring that all of the fabric part of it is sliced evenly, so that the top lid will come off nice and easily. Spend some time on the corners. That's where there's double or triple layers, and any snag is going to slow you down, particularly if you're doing things on your own like I am here. You don't have the opportunity to apply a little bit more force and just kind of tear things through. So just carefully before we continue, we'll check that all of these corners are cut and that it will freely come off. There's a bit I missed. Okay. Then back onto the flat, we can see the lid as it slides off. These are almost square and pretty straightforward as far as taking them off. You just spend some time. There's no way of speeding this up. Before I get rid of it, I'll show you the fact that this inner box actually has some carry handles, and they marry up nicely with a set of handles and a slot inside the inner box. Okay, the next step, we've got a Meechee logo on a little piece of card. Lovely to see. Beautiful logo, well thought out. We've got some basic information, user manual, that type of stuff, and a signed little welcome from the CEO of Rotel. And we've got a massive chunk of closed cell foam. For obvious reasons, this thing is huge. It's so dense and heavy. So it's wonderful that it's so well protected with an element of packaging like this. Now at this point, utilize the fact that the box folds open like this to assist with the next part. Before we drill in further though, I'm going to show you a couple of things that it comes with. The first and the smaller of the two accessory boxes is a remote control. Now, it's very unusual for a product to come with a power amp to come with a remote. These are relatively passive items. But the unit has set up display options, other things that can be changed, and the remote control does that via its oversized front display. The remote's Simple, elegant, very, very well made. It comes with two AAA batteries, a USB for servicing and software updating, and two hex screws to allow you to open the remote, slide out a little part and put two batteries in it. So great to see that they've had such attention to detail with the accessories. In the second accessory pack, it's the larger of the two boxes, there is the New Zealand IEC power cord. Good quality, good length. There is a replacement ceramic fuse, a 3.5mm mono control cable, and a network cable. Now this network cable is simply, if you have a network socket near it, for the purposes of monitoring and supervising the unit. There's some network control also available, but it's not a network streamer or anything like that on board. The next step is relatively straightforward, and I say relatively because how massively heavy this unit is. The first stage to try and keep this camera is just to try and sort of wiggle it off the cardboard a little bit, enough for me to be able to sort of wrench the rest away. You can see just how difficult it is because it's such a solid amplifier. From here, it's relatively straightforward because the closed cell foam is fully supporting the unit, and it's easy to then tip it over onto its top to remove that second piece of closed cell foam. Okay, again, beautifully crafted to support it in transit. You'll see four really big, oversized feet. They're rubber. They're designed to not only support the chassis, but also eliminate vibration, and that's a huge benefit. Rolling it back onto those feet, we can then take off this velveteen sort of cloth bag and reveal for the first time this beautiful, beautiful piece of kit. So tipping it back, we get to look at the front and some of the elegance and style that this unit is. Firstly, the front display, the front panel. That is protected by a thick piece of protective plastic. Removing it is very, very easy, and it comes away cleanly, with no hint of dust or anything like that being left behind. In the centre at the bottom is its main power switch. This glows red in standby and a whitey sort of amber colour when it's on. But you'll know it's on because the display itself starts to light up and do things. You've got multiple options as far as what display you wish, VU meters being one, spectrum analyzer being another, and so on. And above it in the middle is Michi's logo. Spinning it round slowly, we look at how deep the unit is, and if I tip it up, have a look again at those beautiful heat sinks. Spinning it round and looking at the back, this is where some of the magic kind of continues to happen. Firstly, the chassis is beautifully made, the hex bolts and other things holding together such a massive piece of electronics. You'll firstly see two fan ports. Now, the fans are actually inside, blowing air from inside, and this is like the exhaust pipe, I guess. With the chassis so large and delivering a kilowatt of power, it's going to run warm at times, particularly under difficult loads. So they've added these fans to ensure that at peak loads, it can deliver thermal, well, basically it's not going to overheat. It's got two fans, as I said, one for each channel. Emulated in each channel, of course, is the outputs. These are dual outputs in parallel. So the left channel has two sets for the purposes of perhaps wiring your speakers. Above it are the single-ended or RCA and balanced inputs. And above that, trigger control. The single-ended and balanced can be switched via the central switch on this side. And beside that is RS232 control, network control, and beneath that, the right channel. The left and right channels are indicated with white and red as industry standard, and again the right channels are emulated as the output. In the middle there is a central fuse, a rocker switch for power, and an IEC power socket. So there we have this beautiful S5 power amplifier, 500 watts by 2 channels, about 800 watts into 4 ohms. So it gives you an understanding of just how powerful this thing is. This beautiful piece, amazing, amazing electronics from Rotel's Michi, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.